Hey, how's it going everyone? My name is True Wonder Dog, and I think it's time we talk about Bardock. On this channel we've discussed how to buff weaker characters and how to nerf some of the stronger characters. And much like the Greek gods, I believe this game has 3 main characters who dominate it very much so, especially at the tournament scene, and of those top 3, Bardock is definitely one of them. And since we have a huge patch on its way around the middle of August, I thought it could be fun to list all the things that make Bardock great, and in doing so also predict how they might be nerfed a little bit in the future, or at least slightly weakened. Just some minor tweaks here and there to make him a bit more fair and a bit less crazy, because Bardock is one of those characters who's just good in so many ways. So let's go ahead and begin with something you've often seen at the start of the round, which is his Light Rebellion Spear. So this attack is great for a variety of reasons. It's very fast, it has very great range for how fast it is, and best of all, it's only -1 on block. And that might not sound like a big deal, especially for those of you who don't care as much about frame data, but let me go ahead and explain why it's such a big deal. So for most characters, their standing light attack is 6 frames. However, some characters like Android 16 actually have a 7-frame light attack. So that means even if he blocks my Rebellion Spear, we can both mash light attack and we're actually going to trade. There's going to be a clash. So let me go ahead and show you how that looks. And as you can see, we actually traded there on the first hit, and if I was a great Bardock player, I could do Crouching Light on reaction, or maybe Crouching Medium, and I would actually duck under the second hit of his auto combo even though he's mashing. So even though he blocked my move that is technically minus on block, it was still my turn to attack because his light attack is 1 frame slower than mine. That's just one more thing that makes this move fantastic, even at the start of the round, because there are very few things you can do to actually beat it. One tip I've been given by a lot of players is to jump back and do heavy, because that can catch him in certain situations, but for some characters who don't hit on both sides, even that's not a great option, and plus if he doesn't assist, it just makes it even more safe, right? It makes it that much more viable of a move, because even on whiff he can block and let Vegeta or Cell come in to back him up, so it's a very great way to start off the round, and honestly just a great tool in general. In fact, even if you do block it, and Bardock has no assists available, he can still vanish, and now he's actually plus, so it's his turn to attack you. And since he's a very heavy mix-up character and he's all about getting in your face, he's now in your face for basically no effort at all, because it's a very far-reaching move, and whether it's hit or block, he's now in your face. And on hit, it's still a full combo, so fantastic stuff still. He still doesn't lose. And now he gets the hard knockdown and he can pressure you, so just crazy stuff he can do off of that move. Light Rebellion Spear is a very good move. Rebellion Spear in general is a great move. Let's talk about some more reasons why it's fantastic. So if I'm in the corner, then the medium version can actually snap back into itself. So what do I mean by that? Most characters in this game, if they wanted to do a snapback, they have to do vanish, and then throw, and then tag in the next character, right? That's not the case for Bardock at all. Bardock is one of the few characters, if not the only character to my knowledge, who can snap back for no meter at all. So if Bardock hits the opponent in the corner, he can actually combo into his own throw without any meter at all. And to my knowledge, he's the only character who can do that, though I might be wrong, and if so, please correct me down in the comments section. And I know it sounds crazy, but there's still one more thing that makes Rebellion Spear so amazing, specifically the air version. So the air medium version can actually extend combos in the corner for a crazy amount of damage. So you can do stuff like this, and now your combo gets to keep going, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually do a touch of death combo this way, which I have posted on this channel before, and it's just nuts. So in summary, that Rebellion Spear is a very versatile and very useful move, and there's still one more thing about it that I want to cover later on once we get to the supers, but for now, just know that it's a very good move and it's barely unsafe on block. It's only -1, and with the vanish, it's a true string that either gets a full combo or it's a true block string so you can keep pressuring the opponent. So I wouldn't be surprised if a later patch actually made it more minus on block, or maybe increased the recovery on it so that if it whiffs, it's easier to punish him. Something along those lines. I don't think they're going to take away the ground bounce. They might take away the snapback, though I don't think they will. It's entirely possible, but I doubt they'll take that away. I think mainly it's going to be more unsafe, or have longer recovery, or maybe less range. I think it's going to get touched in one way or another, because my god, that range for only 10 frames of startup, and the hit confirm on vanish or a full combo, it's just such a great move. Only -1, ugh. But that's enough time to spend on that. Let's go ahead and move on to something else that's also very great about Bardock, and that's his light auto string. So this move will bring you all the way back down to the ground, even if you're in the air. So for example, like you saw earlier, I did Rebellion Spear into vanish, and if those hit at all, he's all the way back down to the ground. That makes it an amazing hit confirm, not just for combos, but even if the opponent tries to instant air dash on you. So I'm gonna go ahead and record Adult Gohan and make him do an instant air dash. And let's see if I can actually snag him on reaction. I might be able to. Look at that, I snagged him right out of the sky. That was my first attempt at even doing that. And I don't even play Bardock, and it was just that easy. And what that means is I can actually get a full combo afterwards, a full ground combo into launcher. Not even just a light into jump cancel. I can do light, medium, medium, and then medium, medium into a launcher, just like any other character can do on the ground. Bardock can do from the air, so even if the opponent's airborne, he still gets a full standard ground combo. It's just a wonderful hit confirm, honestly one of the best things about him. If they do end up adjusting this string, I think they might make it to where the second hit doesn't have quite as crazy a hitbox, so it won't hit the opponent if they're in space, but if they're a little bit above you, it'll still work. I think that might be the only change they make if they even touch this string at all. So they'll have to be like right in front of me, like an instant air dash, but if they're really high above me, then it's no longer gonna snag them. The first hit might work, but the second one's not quite gonna reach. That might be one way they touch this string. It is one of the best things about Bardock, so it might get nerfed a little bit. I doubt it, but you know, nothing is outside the realm of possibility. And next up we have Raging Meteor. Now this is not one of his best tools, but certainly a good tool that might be tweaked a little bit in the upcoming patch. Similar to Cell's Rolling Crush, this move hits multiple times and it ends with an overhead. And it's only -4 on block, so it's still not punishable even though it is the opponent's turn. However, if the opponent does block it, let me go ahead and set Gohan to block here, so I'll make him guard everything. I have plenty of time to call in an assist because I can see if it lands or not, and I can call in my assist and now it's still my turn and I can do all the crazy stuff that Bardock can do. So even though it's technically minus on block, it has so many hits that it's very easy to see if it lands or not and then just tag into an assist and then it's still your turn. And not to mention that last hit is still an overhead, so for a lot of players, including myself, it will sometimes catch you off guard. You'll be blocking a full string, they'll do this move and it ends with that overhead, you'll be crouching and it'll still catch you because sometimes you just have a tendency to crouch. I think if they were to nerf this at all, they would make it more minus on block, or maybe they would make it to where it doesn't have as much corner carry, because that's one more great thing about it, is that it does cause a slide knockdown. So let me go ahead and make Gohan not block anymore. So if I was to do a short combo and end with this, it does put the opponent in a slide knockdown, and I can pressure them with it very easily in the corner, and it does good damage as well. Now if I do a wall bounce instead, I can still get the slide knockdown, but I have to spend meter. It's still a fantastic option though. Basically whenever he wants to, Bardock does get a slide knockdown, which some characters can't do. Some characters can't get a slide knockdown in certain situations, and Bardock basically always can. So that's some pretty crazy stuff, though I doubt they're going to take that away. I imagine they're going to make it either more minus, they might remove the overhead, though I doubt it, or they might just make it to where it's a bit slower on startup, or not as much range, or not as much corner carry. Any number of things. I don't think it's one of Bardock's strongest tools though, so I'd be okay if they didn't touch it at all. I just wanted to put it out there because it is still one of the best things about Bardock. He has so many great things, and this is just one of them. And next up we have Tyrant Lancer. You don't see this move very much at tournaments, but that's not because it isn't fantastic, it's just because so many other tools that Bardock has are just better. But make no mistake, Tyrant Lancer does have its versatility. It combos into super very easily. It can be vanish cancelled for a full combo. It causes the wall bounce in the corner, so it's great for doing touch of death combos. If you've already used his throw into super, then it's great for that. It's also +4 on block. So even though it has a bit of a wind up, it's still great on block if your opponent doesn't know the frame data. So for example, if I tell Gohan that I want him to block, and then just mash light attack, just have him mash it all day long. Okay, go ahead and save that. Now I'm gonna do Tyrant Lancer, and if he tries to punish this, I will win, because I'm at +4. There is nothing he can do. Oh god, he's gonna keep on attacking, but there's nothing he can do if he blocks this. I'm at +4. It is my turn, and he just has to deal with that. So I dropped that combo entirely, but you get the idea. If he blocks Tyrant Lancer, it's definitely still my turn. And what you'll see a lot of players also do, even at a semi-high level, is you'll see them have the opponent blocking, and they'll actually use this move and they'll hold it down to create a fake opening. So if the opponent tries to punish it or interrupt it, they'll still get snagged. And this move is already great for that because it does have a bit of a wind-up. So it's already great for catching players who try to mash out of block strings, and it scoots them back a little bit too on the wind-up, so it's just a really good way to whiff punish. It's a fantastic move, it's just not as good as Rebellion Spear or Raging Meteor, so you don't see it quite as much, but make no mistake, Tyrant Lancer is still a fantastic move with great utility. So if they were to touch this move in an upcoming patch, I imagine they would make it not so plus, because that's the only thing you can really do. I mean, it's still great for extending combos, they're not going to take that away, and they're not going to make it even slower on startup, it's already pretty slow. I think they'll just make it not quite so plus, because +1 is honestly still more than enough. You're right in the opponent's face. There's no reason to really make it +4 unless you just feel like it. But that's very rare in fighters, honestly. I mean, I'm joking about it, but a plus move is super rare in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Not to mention, look at all that chip damage that it does. That's still pretty nuts too, right? That's twice as much as Rebellion Spear. And more than Raging Meteor too, so lots of block damage too. So not only is it +4, but if you block it, you're already taking damage on top of the pressure that comes afterwards. So they might also reduce the chip damage if they touch anything about it. They might not. And last but not least, we have the super attacks. And we're going to start off with his Saiyan Spirit. This is the alternate version of his level 1. So the standard level 1 is just a projectile, but if you do heavy and special instead of light and medium, then you get this short range 2-hitting attack which wall bounces and is great for comboing into itself in the corner with the right assists. And that's mainly because it recovers so quickly. And once again, this leads to the very easy touch of death combo that I've shown in the video already. These super loops are honestly not tough to do, and a lot of characters have assists that can do it just fine. So it's a very versatile super that has great synergy with most assists in the game, and it lets Bardock do some crazy damaging combos with just his own super. He doesn't even have to tag super into someone else, he can get the whole job done himself, and that's because it recovers so quickly. So one big change they might actually do is increase the recovery time so that it can no longer loop into itself, and that would be a pretty fair change. It would make me sad because it's very hyped to watch, but at the same time I would understand that change a lot because I don't know of any other character in the game that can do this. The only example I can think of is how Kid Buu's level 1 super allows his partner to combo into their own super twice, but not 3 or more times like Bardock can do. And then he can still DHC into his entire team afterwards, which means no matter what, he's always doing 80% damage at least, if not 90 in the right situations. But honestly, that's not all that makes this super so powerful. Unlike most level 1s in the game, it is fully invincible on startup, and this lets it beat a lot of other attacks, including other supers. So I'm going to go ahead and let Gohan do a level 3, and watch what I can do here. And look at that, can you even believe what you just saw? I blew right through Gohan's level 3 super on reaction. I waited for his super to start, I waited for the full animation during that screen freeze, I just inputted the super, and I beat it out clean because it is fully invincible on startup, and that's very powerful for a level 1 super. So that's pretty crazy stuff, it's fully invincible, and while the range isn't that great so it may not get there in time, if it does get there, it's invincible all the way up until that point, so it will catch the opponent. It's very versatile, not just for corner combos because of that crazy fast recovery, but even in the neutral, it's great for whiff punishing so many things due to that invincibility on startup. So on top of the recovery time, they may also take away those invincibility frames, or at least reduce them. His level 3 does that as well, so we might as well segue into his level 3. It hits full screen, so it's great for whiff punishing almost anything, and it does pretty good damage, but best of all, he gets a hard knockdown in almost any situation. And that's important to take note of because a lot of characters have level 3s they can do in the air, like Vegito Blue for example. However, if Vegito Blue does do his super and he's not close enough to the ground, he won't actually get the hard knockdown. And this is not the case for Bardock. Bardock can do a crazy long combo, and as long as he ends with level 3, he will still get that hard knockdown. So even all the way up here, that was a pretty bad combo. Once again, I'm not a Bardock player. But he still gets the hard knockdown here, and a lot of players will do this. And then on the way down, they'll do a move. They'll do medium Rebellion Spear, and on the way down, they'll do an air attack. So perhaps in the future update, they may make this level 3 a bit less versatile, they may reduce the range, they may even nerf the damage, which I don't think is necessary. But most of all, they may remove some of those setups. They may make it recover a bit longer so he doesn't have time to do his medium Rebellion Spear. Instead, all he can do is dash in for pressure, or maybe they'll make it to where it can't get a hard knockdown if you're high enough off the ground, similar to other level 3s in the game, but I don't think they'll go that far with it. Although, once again, anything's possible, but I just don't see them doing that, so I wouldn't worry about that. The damage might get nerfed, or they may remove some of the setups afterwards, but I still think it's going to be a very versatile level 3, and easily one of the best level 3s in the game. In my opinion, it actually is the best level 3 in the game. just because of all the setups you get afterwards, and I'm not a Bardock player so I can't show it off very well. I may put up some footage of Goichi doing it instead to show how badass some of these setups can be. To show just how powerful some of these setups can be. But at any rate, that concludes my video for Bardock, everyone. I hope I did an okay job explaining why Bardock is so good in this game, while also discussing some of the ways that he might be nerfed in the upcoming patch. Once again, I do love Bardock as a character, and I don't want him to be nerfed into oblivion, but I do think many of these nerfs that I've proposed are very likely to happen. Whatever may happen, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please leave a like down below. And while you're down there, go ahead and post a comment too. What changes would you like to see for Bardock? And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.